Favourite artists of all time are Arctic Monkeys, I reckon. My favourite songwriter, like individually, might still be Alex Turner, or it might be Noel Gallagher, actually, because he's written so many more songs, and they're still all like a like a hit for me anyway. I love all the Oasis albums. I love all the solo albums. Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. I don't know if I had to pick one album. That's really hard.
Why don't you start with artists? So go
Okay.
do a couple more. Who might make your shortlist?
Exactly. Well, that's okay.
Who might be able to create an album that you would listen to over and over again?
Exactly. So I've said Alex Turner in all his forms, which is Arctic Monkeys, Last Shadow Puppets, and that one solo album he did, which is an EP for the movie Submarine by Richard Ayoade, which maybe should have made my shortlist for best movies, but anyway. Noel Gallagher, The Smiths, Kasabian have come in clutch in the last month or so. I've just listened to all their albums and gone, oh wow, these are actually all pretty good. Beatles, of course, have to be mentioned. Lennon specifically. I just re-listened to Plastic Ono Band, his version, and it's just great. Eminem, surprisingly, genuinely, some of his albums are some of my favourite albums of all time. Not all of them. There's a lot of misses, but there's a lot of hits. So, Bowie, Life on Mars. No, what's that album called? Hunky Dory, which I listened to recently. Stone Roses. The two albums are pretty flawless. Yeah. Miles Kane I really, really like, but I don't know. I don't think all his albums are very re-listenable. Sometimes they get a bit cheesy. I think that's it. Red Hot Chili Peppers have a lot of hits, but they're spread over so many albums that I don't think there's. Maybe Californication is a pretty solid album, but when you consider some of their best songs are not on that album, then it would feel wrong to pick that album, because it's I know there's better songs elsewhere. Kaiser Chiefs, there's definitely Kaiser Chiefs. I love all their stuff, but ultimately, if I'm trying to pick one album, Jamie, that's one album.
You're not even gonna get it to a top 3. You're just gonna go, here's some artists, and the best album is.
Well, he's not my favourite artist, but the aforementioned Donald Glover, Childish Gambino himself, released an album in 2013 when another one of my favourite albums, AM, was also released. But that wasn't Childish Gambino's album. Childish Gambino's album was called Because the Internet, and it is, again, one of my favourite albums. It was in my top 9. But in terms of variety, from track to track, that has something for every mood. I think that is it. I think that is the perfect album in that regard, in the sense that I can listen to the whole album anytime I want, but I can just pick out songs from it that I know are the right mood for what I want to listen to right now, and just listen to them. And it's always, on average, I'd say I listen to one song from it at least once a week, just in my heavy rotation. So I think I'd say that.
That is crazy. I did not expect that.
I bet you didn't. But just in terms of variety, okay, maybe just as a solid album, I'd maybe give the edge to Stone Roses or Arctic Monkeys, because I do just love listening to a whole album of theirs. But no, I think all the songs on Because of the Internet are so wildly different and fun and crazy and sad and calming, and I just love all of them. And there's not a bad song. Every song is good, obviously. of course, we're only talking about albums at this point with, solid songs all the way through.
Shit.
But like Stone Roses especially I love all the Stone Roses songs, but they're a consistent mood throughout. And then Arctic Monkeys, Favourite Worst Nightmares and Humbug are both pretty great, but they don't vary that much, all the songs. I'm not saying that all the songs are the same, but they are similar vibes, to be sure, which arguably is what an album should be. But that's not the case for Because the Internet. Because the Internet is so weird and fun and different, and I love all of it, and that is my choice.
Very interesting.
And if I had to do a top 5, there'd be Humbug, Arctic Monkeys, Stone Roses' eponymous first album, The Queen is Dead by the Smiths. Actually, that's something I can just... No. It's The Queen is Dead by the Smiths, yeah. And... I'm trying to think of... For Crying Out Loud by Kasabian. Fantastic album. Oh, and Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, the first album, which I think was just self-titled. Okay. That is my shortlist. But ultimately, I know the winner, and the winner is Mr. Glover.
That's incredible.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that, would you?
Not at all. Wow.
I'm not saying it's my favourite album, as I've made clear. It is not my favourite album, but I think it is the perfect all-rounder. And it's not just the case that it has something for everyone. It has something for everyone, and it does it all very well. So that is my choice.
I didn't expect this to take this long, to be fair.
Well, no, but since we are, I'm going to extend the runtime now, because I mentioned a bunch of artists, but you actually went in depth about a bunch of albums that you love, which I'm not going to do, but I'm just going to name a few. Which I'm now going to... Yeah, Hunky Dory, as you said. I mean, we love it. Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. I really, really
so
like.
misogynistic.
Well, yeah, but what
it's
can you
trapped
do?
in the past, but it's iconic.
It's somewhat iconic. Eminem is a tricky subject. I grew up with the first Eminem album I bought was the Marshall Mathers LP 2.
That's crazy, because that was the first one that I heard.
Sure,
but the best and my favourite is his first album, Slim Shady LP.
I understand that, but I absolutely love Encore, which was meant to be his last album, because he was like, I'm done now, and then he went on to, he's still making albums now, but I think Encore is my favourite Eminem album, and honestly probably is one of my top albums of all time. Blur, I really like Blur, but I can't listen to a whole album. So
I don't like Blur at all.
That's fine, but
that's because I'm from Manchester, so of course I'm not allowed to like Blur at all.
That's fine. International Velvet by Catatonia, very good. Bit more indie, but not ridiculously indie, because like my mum likes it. But
oh no!
But it is good. Urban Hymns by The Verve, very good. Room on Fire by The Strokes, definitely.
The Strokes.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought about that.
Well, they're not. Again,
I wouldn't say they're one of the greatest bands ever, or
no.
It's the greatest album ever. But they are on my rotation. I think they're brilliant. A little bit like Catfish, right? Catfish are great, but I don't think I'd put any of their albums up for.
Yeah.
I think they might have won a Mercury Prize.
Walking Like We Do by The Big Moon, again very indie but very good.
Do you remember Primal Scream?
I don't love them.
They're Mercury Prize
ones, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yours Truly, Angry Mob by Kaiser Chiefs, but also Employment are both very, very, very good albums.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, all the Oasis albums, but again, I'd have to give it to definitely maybe Deluxe Edition, so we can get that Whatever.